It is what it is, and it ain't gonna be what it isn't going to be. Hi. Ooh, super shaky. Hi, hello, and welcome to another Iced Coffee Chronicle, where we always start well below half full. This is your reminder that this video isn't sponsored by anything that I'm consuming. Not the water, not the flavored water, not the iced coffee. And yeah, we're gonna get into it. I think I'm gonna try to pull cards around the solar eclipse, the annular solar eclipse, new moon in a few days. I feel like yesterday, so much just like clicked. You, it just like it was like it felt like there were things within me that were as I'm living my life, journeying my journey. These points that I reach, these seemingly opposing points of this, but that. And until everything clicked, these two were in opposition. And then it's like these external puzzle pieces. And at first, I was admittedly, honestly, mildly annoyed. But then it just kind of all sort of like into place. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, and just in time, Um, I guess I could do that. I'm using the four Kims. So I have the wild unknown, animal spirits, tarot archetypes, and alchemy. Since the Mother of Swords, okay, that's the tarot. Since the Mother of Swords came out sort of spearheading, representing the solar eclipse, I'm going to pull before and after her. I'm going to pull before and after the hyena because of the moon, specifically because of like the moon and the hyena and in the wild unknown animal spirits. I don't know, like right off the bat, immediately, there isn't any other imagery that like really grabs my attention. And then we're just gonna pull an archetype, I guess, and an alchemy card for sure. So let's get into it. I've already removed all of the cards from their homes and pre-shuffle them. We'll shuffle a little bit more and we'll see what is up. So basically, the aha moment of it all. Oh, that's interesting. And then there's the owl. Oh, I went looking for the owls. Okay. So basically, we all have a part to play, and then there's the vulture. Um, we all have our a part to play. We all have our own journey, and then there's the card I'm looking for. It's because of that moon and the hyena more than anything. That's what I'm looking for. Still at the cut with the wolf. So this I might have to try to use these Bluetooth one day because this cord kind of gets annoying. But it's fine. Also, I was able to get the earring in. So, with some strong encouragement, mostly patience, flexibility, and repetition. The Magician and the Father of Swords is what we're starting with at the cut. Interesting. Basically, and then the Father of Swords with the Hierophant. So the Father of Swords bridges or sits in between the Magician and the Hierophant. And I feel like that's kind of it. We all have a part to play. Um, and while we are playing our part. There are things for us to do, right? Um, to do or not do. Or, sometimes we just stand ready to receive, or we stand on our mark and we wait for the starting pistol to fire, the shaman and the father shaman. Also, Mars is in Cancer right now. And I feel like, well, natally, I have Mars in Cancer, so I may be biased. And it aspects my sun in Pisces. And I think that's like it. I don't have to go through my whole birth chart. It sextiles my Taurus rising, my Taurus ascendant, trines my Pisces sun, and I think that's it because it's like 9 degrees. So it's in a loose square to my Venus. Uh, it squares a little more tightly my Jupiter, but that Capricorn square or the Capricorn opposition is like 11 degrees. So anyway, the desert. See, this is the card that came out with the Mother of Swords and the sea. Cool. But anyway, I'm feeling Mars in Cancer. It feels like usually, maybe sometimes, Mars in Cancer can be when the warrior grows a heart and when the warrior grows a conscience. And it feels like if the warrior has done things that the warrior regrets, then Mars in Cancer can be a dark time of like coming to what the warrior has done, or like escapism, or dreams to define what the warrior may feel is hard to justify. But if the warrior has a heart, it's like it knows it feels like it falls more into the protector or the guardian because it knows what it's fighting for and it believes in what it's fighting for. It's not just Mars out there doing the war and bloodshed thing for the sake of carnage and chaos, which I love. Last deck is what an alchemy. Cool. I don't know. That's just how I've been feeling it this time, and especially in particular. It feels like it has a point. It knows what ground it stands on. It knows what hills it will fight on, which hills it will survive on, which hills it'll thrive on, and which ones just like aren't really worth it. Almost in terms of like prioritizing. You know how sometimes it's like there are bigger things going on in the world, or there are bigger fish to fry type energy. So, anyways, let's get into this. I'm gonna breathe. I'm assuming you're already breathing. I'm not gonna ask you to take a breath with me. If you want to, you can. I'm not gonna signal it. My immediate impression is funnel. It's like when a lot of stuff is going into a narrower channel, but it's all sort of like going in, you know? Which brings the Ten of Swords, the Destroyer, in the Revelations edition to mind because, and I think I talked about this last time I was live, because it mentions the shaman as it increases its capacity to hold something. And then the vessel will be filled. So I'm going to look before and after the vessel in the archetypes, and then the alchemy will be the alchemy. Uh, I got this in my hand right now. Five of Cups. We'll just start. And again, I'm looking before. Ooh, Five of Cups, Strength, and the Six of Swords. Love to see it. Um, and then the Wheel of Fortune and the Hanged Man is after. Again, we're looking for the Mother of Swords because she kind of sort of came off as the harbinger, you could say, of the solar eclipse, this annular solar eclipse. Ooh, okay, I gotta go back a few cards, but I think it was the Hermit, Justice, and no, Justice. Oh, okay. We're starting this already. It was Justice, the Moon, and the Hermit. The Moon and the Hermit is Pisces and Virgo, major arcana associated. We just finished we just finished the full moon Pisces lunar eclipse specifically, but Virgo season. And then we see it in balance here. Now the two cards before that Justice, it's the three cards before, the four cards before. The fifth card before is the Three of Swords. We have Temperance, the Eight of Swords, Death, and the Two of Wands. And then we have this Justice with the major arcana Pisces and Virgo energies. Uh, Again, for me in this deck, it looks like the Three of Swords block some kind of corridor or passage. But with that healed, maybe that's part of this funnel energy. Like there were things, maybe this is a key access point internally. And they say the wound is the spot where the light enters or where healing enters, and a broken heart specifically. I don't have the energy oracle cards with me, or I might pull before and after the broken heart. But they say, I've heard someone says it, the wound is the spot where the light enters. And it's like while the wound is scarred, it can't while the wound is scarred, it's almost like the Ten of Wands in this deck where it's like a sheet. And depending on how opaque it is or transparent it is, there's a certain amount of light that can penetrate it, I guess, that isn't reflected or refracted off of it. And then sometimes you have to tear it so that it can heal properly. Or sometimes the scar heals. It goes from opaque to more and more and more transparent. Once that's healed, that's when it becomes this open corridor for the light to just like go through. There was something, I guess that's been a thing, even with the bottom three cards, the Five of Cups, Strength, and the Six of Swords. There's been an energy of sometimes we are encouraged to go down the harder path, the more difficult, more challenging path, because through navigating that path, we will not only increase the resistance on that specific path, but it feels like as we heal, change, grow, and evolve on that path, there's also resistances that are lowered in other areas. And so it's almost like, I guess you could say incidental healing, peripheral healing, not necessarily consciously intended or known about healing. But with the funneling, it's like this corridor is open. This Three of Swords has been healed, and now something can just like pour into it rather than it like trickling. And it feels like as that's pouring into it, it releases some part of the self with Temperance, the Eight of Swords, and Death. It was this way. With temperance, the eight of sword, and death. Temperance and death are 13 and 14, first of all, but they're looking at each other across this eight of swords. And then we have the two of wands, which moves forward. The two of wands also came out, I feel like, with the death card or next to justice or something like that. The two of wands came out in a similar context recently. And then again, we have justice between the moon and the hermit. Justice between the moon and the hermit can also be, again, with the healing of this corridor that allows for more and more light to enter a space to the point where whatever this eight of swords cocoon blockage was is no longer there. What used to be even more obscured with the moon, we can now, like, now the light of the hermit, not only does the light of the hermit, or not only is the light of the hermit capable of illuminating it, but it provides so much light, so much illumination that we can clearly identify what it is. And that's why justice is here. Sometimes with things in the dark, if you don't provide enough light, it can be easy to think it's something else. Oh, look, and then there's the Ten of Wands, the Father of Cups, and the Son of Cups. Oh, this is this is hilarious. So there's a joke on Everybody Hates Chris where someone gets like the black slapped off of them. It's like a saying. Usually when you get in trouble and someone's like, I'm about to slap the black off of you. But it's like the black, it didn't get slapped off of the Father of Cups, but you can see it in this cup here. And the reason why I laugh is because, like, literally when we were coming from Walmart earlier, my brother brought it up, and now it's here in the comments. LOL. LOL. I guess I'll look at my phone because it doesn't usually make this much noise. And if someone is cooking something, I'm gonna be hungry. No one is cooking. Oh, wait. Hold up. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, wait. Maybe? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll take two. See, if I would have, it might already be too late. If I wait too late, they were like, "Oh, should have said something earlier," and I'll be like, "Oh, I was live," and they were like, "I'm sorry." So yeah. Anyway, I had a feeling that food might be involved, but that's hilarious because my little brother, like Jess Muffin, literally brought it up in the car today, and there it is. It's like it didn't get slapped, but the black got slapped off the Father of Cups. Now, because the Father of Cups is intuitive, and because we went from a healed Three of Swords to the Eight of Swords that comes out of the cocoon, it's like maybe this was a certain lens that things were intuited and perceived through. But now, because of the healing that's happened and the transformation and evolution within the self, we would actively, masculinely, Marsly take a different path. So this could also be Mars, the guardian, the protector, rather than it almost being like this way, where when Mars is naive, Mars does a bunch of things that it regrets, and now it has to live with those regrets. But here's the Ten of Swords, or the Ten of Wands I was talking about when it was like before, possibly before, well, yeah, before the Three of Swords is fully healed, depending on how opaque it is, whenever the light tried to enter something or whenever the light passed by something, Like you would kind of sort of see it, like if you close your eyes, it's dark, but if you look at a source of light, you'll see not black. Like that reddy, orangey, whatever color. Cool. So that was there. Cool, cool. And then Daughter of Pentacles is here. All right. Oh, and then after the Daughter of Pentacles is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is the card of birthright for me in this deck, and that's birthright returns. Love it. Six of Wands is with the star. There we see a butterfly, a monarch butterfly that has escaped its cocoon and risen above the dark. Where is this Mother of Swords? Oh, the Sun and the Mother of Swords, and then the Father of Wands. I love those. Before the Sun is the Magician, and before the Magician is the Mother of Cups. So between the Mother of Cups and the Mother of Swords, we have the Sun and the Magician. And again, this was that sort of time in between the full moon Pisces lunar eclipse that came out under the energy of the Mother of Cups and the new moon Libra solar eclipse, which was the Mother of Swords. We have the Sun and the Magician between the two of them. Love to see it. Love to see it. The Sun of Swords is before that, and the Nine of Cups is before that. Just to let you know. I think I'm going to end up taking these two. And because I wanted to take one after the Mother of Cups, since I did one, or one before the Mother of Cups, since I did one after the Mother of Swords, and they're both suns. They're both the masculine element suns, air and fire. Which again, I say again because it came out recently. These are like two of the fastest knights in the deck. So like, there's a lot of energy and momentum here. Love to see it. Nine of Cups, Two of Cups. And then Ace of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles with the Lovers and the Hierophant. And that was like before, after, before, after, before, after, like combinations. Cool. Love this energy. I was okay. All right, all right. I don't know, like everything just like clicked and it made sense. Oh, she already put in the exact number that I wanted for me. Because she knew I was high. I'm not going to starve tonight. It's also interesting because earlier we went to a fast food restaurant and I got chicken nuggets. Excuse me. And my mom was like, "What sauce do you want?" And I said barbecue, but I wanted honey mustard. But I said barbecue. And then I was like, but they put honey mustard in my bag. So I was they gave me what I really wanted and not what I thought I wanted in the moment, which I'm glad for. All right. Anyway, so here we go. So lunar eclipse is the Sun of Swords and the Magician. Solar eclipse is the Sun of Wands and the Sun. The trajectory of comet question mark meteor question mark. The Google my phone news, it tells me all kinds of stuff. uh the trajectory of a comet question mark meteor question mark has changed, and now its likelihood of colliding with the earth has increased, and the name of it is Apophis, and it's due to hit in 2029, or due to come into orbit in 2029, I believe. And I think I looked up Apophis maybe, and I saw Ra somewhere recently. I think that's where I saw Ra. That's what I was trying to piece together because it's the sun and the son of wands, and for some reason, uh, like Ra or something like that could be like a pharaoh type energy or emperor energy. Pharaohs, I think both pharaohs and emperors were believed to be either divinity or the children of divinity. Like emperors for sure were believed to be divinity, in like China, especially. I just read a book months ago now, but I think pharaohs are also sort of seen the same way. And it was the monarch butterfly that we spotted. I can't remember if there's another butterfly in the deck. I think there's a. Oh, that wasn't the monarch. That was the emperor. That's the emperor butterfly. The monarch butterfly is orange. The emperor butterfly is blue. That's the emperor, the divine or the child of the divine. Right? Emperor butterfly. That wasn't a monarch. It was an emperor. There you go. The blue emperor butterfly. Well, she's giving butterfly energy. I think there is a monarch in the deck somewhere. Maybe it's the butterfly in the wild unknown animal spirit. I've seen this energy. For some reason, I know the monarch butterfly came out, or the emperor. I keep saying monarch. I know the emperor butterfly came out as an emperor before because I looked it up and I didn't know if it was the empress butterfly or the emperor butterfly. It was around the energy of the empress. Um, I don't remember fully the context of that. And then I just had another thought, but it escapes me. The whale is at the bottom of the deck. It's the emperor, not the monarch. And yeah, so there's all this. It's interesting though, because you have the sons and then you have the mothers. And even in this magician card, it's backed by the sun. Interesting. Interesting. Cool. Love it. Tiger at the bottom of the deck, followed by the nightingale and the panther. Fire, air, fire. Again, masculine elements. All of this is all of this masculine? Son of Swords, the Magician, the Sun, and the Son of Wands. The mothers are the clarifiers, so they don't really count. Interesting. I love this. Because again, we have fire, air, fire, more masculine energy. The air between the tiger and the panther is the nightingale, and the nightingale like calls light out into the darkness or whatever. Looking before and after the hyena. Ooh. Oh, there we go. Oh, of course the wolf is here. Oh my gosh. The golden egg, the hyena, and the wolf. And then we have the bear and the beaver. So here we see the earth and the water. And then before the bear is the unicorn, pretty sure. Yeah. Because the unicorn and the bear, the sun energy, the sun and the moon are looking at each other. And the unicorn and the bear. And again, the bear being on the sun, bears there's something of like the bear coming out of hibernation that feels like it links back to the Three of Swords, Temperance, Eight of Swords, Death, Two of Wands. It's like now more and more and more of this light can come in because of whatever that Three of Swords was is like healed and it can like go through. Like the whirlpool, it doesn't feel like a bottleneck, but it does have that energy of compression to it. It's like it's going from like very vast to like more focused. So love that. Let me put these back. After the beaver is the moth, which is the papillon de nuit, and then behind the moth is the raccoon. Papillon de nuit. This is like the night butterfly, and it feels like that's what like the high priestessy energy of this white tiger with the straight up shadow of the panther and that nightingale in between them, calling out light in the darkness. It feels like that's related to this moth because as the butterfly, as the emperor butterfly emerges in the daytime, so too does the night butterfly emerge in the darkness and the shadow. So the reason why was intrigued, I guess, by the wolf when it was at the cut with whatever card it was at the cut with, the owl specifically. It's because oh my gosh, that's another LOL. Um, it was I feel like 2 years ago now. There was something about like the Watchers were everywhere. Like their energy was all over the place. Everybody was talking about them, and so I combined the White Unknown Tarot and Animal Spirits, and I looked before and after all the owls. I suspected the Swords family and the owl, but I forgot that on the Wheel of Fortune, there's an owl too. But anyway, there was only one of the Watchers that came out before the veil. And then the rest of the owls were like behind the veil. But behind the veil, it was like fairly deep into the veil was this wolf. And it felt like the wolf was just like sitting behind the veil, waiting, watching, but more so waiting for us to like approach it, to get to the point where we would be able to approach it. And now it's like not only did it come out at the cut with the owl in the beginning, but now it's here on the dark side of the moon in the hyena. On the light side of the moon is this golden. And this is spirit and earth. So this is our constructed reality question mark. I did this recently. It was Earth. We were in the space where Earth was the element of transcendence because it was fire, water, and air. And so I went to the community page to find a little thing that I had posted. And I think the one that we are in is the tria prima of water, earth, and fire. No, the tria prima of air, earth, and fire, where water is that element of transcendence. And I did it at the bottom. According to probably like the SKT, the book for the SKT, that's I think where I saw it first. Uh, 8 months ago. Yeah. So we're in this tria prima of fire, earth, and air. You can't see it. Fire, earth, and air. There you go. Fire, earth, and air, with water being sort of like ether. Here on the table, we have fire and air. And now the wolf with the hyena with this solar eclipse, it's bringing in ether, oops, our spirit, ether, and earth. Meaning like it's the world that we live in, or it's the construction of the world that we live in. Yeah. And the magician, his paw is on the pentacle. And again, the wolf is the element of earth, which is also interesting because wolves have kind of sort of been coming up. And then I had the dream. So I had the dream about the baby wolf, and I was like, "You was, I need my arms." And I was like, "I hope wolves like dog food." Then I was like, "Let me put some like raw meat on top of it because wolves are like wild or whatever." But also, my youngest brother, who isn't on here, not just nothing, got me watching a show called Gleipnir, and anything NIR or EIP, LEIPNIR. I'm like, oh, it's like Norse, right? So I looked it up, and I guess Gleipnir was the name of the bindings that was used to close the mouth of Fenrir or to subdue Fenrir. I didn't know the bindings had a name, but so because I didn't know the name of the bindings, I didn't know that like, oh, let me watch the show and then have the dream about the wolf. Anyway, the wolf is here. The golden egg is here. In the dream, it was like a little wolf. It wasn't a full grown like dire wolf. And also with the father of wands to the son of wands, when I was younger, a lot younger, a child, I used to dream about like a big black dire wolf often. And then one day it just like disappeared. Hey Eve, how you doing? I feel like, and plus there's I don't know what's happening right now. We'll see. Uh, uh, um, hell, thanks for popping by and saying hi. But this wolf in the dream, it wasn't like a big black dire wolf. It was like a little wolf, gray wolf pup. Anyway, also too, um, oh, no, are you like okay? Have they subsided today? Um, Also, I don't know what the deck is, but I've been seeing the golden children pop up like everywhere, and the golden egg is here. Um, Again, I had I don't know if I've seen the deck before because I don't have it. Okay. Yep, I had to feed one to keep my arm because I was like, I'm not trying to go the way it's here. Um, Maybe it was a different. I kind of like that. Anyway, um, I don't know if I've seen the deck before, but I'm like the Golden Children or the gold. I think it's the Golden Children. They're popping up like literally all over the place now, and I'm like, okay. I went from like not even knowing what this deck is to now like 3 or 4 different readers are like getting the Golden Children. So for the Golden Egg to be here next to this, I'm like, interesting. Also, golden children with that raw child of the emperor divine child energy. Uh how emperors and pharaohs were believed to be either divinity or the children of divinity. Yeah, I was like, and it kind of like it nibbled on me a little bit, not like full on like whatever. It was like playing, and I was like, let me make sure you're fed before we do anything else. I'm gonna make sure Chino's in the room and that you're fed. It was a, I think I talked about it when I did the powers of two and three, the whatever one Taurus is on, because I had to pause it during Taurus, and Chino came and actually like jumped up and showed himself, and not like made me look like I'm petting an imaginary dog. I'm like, you always jump up. Like, why are you whatever? Anyway, I talked about it. I was like, Chino, oh yeah, I had a dream about a wolf last night. I had a dream years ago, um, where I was trying to go lucid, and I ended up going lucid, but I couldn't navigate the dream the way I wanted to. There was like this dream city, and there were different parts of the city, but I could tell that they were connected. I don't know if it was the astral superhighway. Like whenever we go to sleep, we all kind of sort of gather in the same place before we go off and have our own dreams or whatever. But it was like heavily populated, and it was a city, and it was like again, it was like probably about a good month. I dreamed, and I'm like, I'm dreaming. I'm in the city of dreams. So one time I was lucid and I wanted to find out about the big black direwolf. Because maybe I was talking about it with a friend, and I was like, I haven't like seen that wolf in a dream since I was a kid, and he was like, oh well, maybe it's because like you don't need to see it or whatever anymore. Um, that's just sometimes I don't know. It's some dreams especially. Um, but I'm in this city. When I first started lucid dreaming, it was a lot easier to navigate. I would just like think of what I wanted. I would turn around and either like somebody who could take me there or give me whatever. Like it was like that. Now it's like this whole like not rarely that simple thing. So I was in this city and I'm like, okay, like I want to find like my spirit guides because I had questions about that wolf. Uh, and so again, like I'm in the city and it's crowded, and I notice someone like get a text or a call that they don't recognize, and I go up to them, and I'm like, "Oh, like did you just like get a message telling you to help somebody find their spirit guide?" And it was in the dream. It was this Asian guy. It's not important, but it was an Asian guy in the dream, and he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I'm the person that you need to direct. So can you take me to where my guides are?" And he was like, "I don't know where to go." He was like confused. I'm like, "Wherever you feel led to go, just take me there. Like, you don't have to whatever." And so we end up going into this restaurant. I'm like talking about the dream now. It's fine. We end up going to this restaurant and it's pretty packed. It's pretty busy. I walk in, there's a table on the left with like it's full, but there's one seat open, and a table on the right with the same setup. It's full, but there's one seat open, and I'm like, do I go left or right? And then, if you've ever seen the Angel of Love in the Energy Oracle cards, the girl looked like her. It was like this red-haired girl, redheaded girl, and she was like, "Oh, like, hey, Patrick, like, you can sit by me." Um, and so she was like a spirit guide who was, I think she was like in charge, or like she helped me with something that I didn't really need help with. Like me as a person, I was like, "Oh, then your job must be like pretty easy because I don't need a lot of help in that area." She was like, "Yeah, like it is, but lately I've been assigned to do this other thing." And I was like, "Oh, so you went from like probably the easiest job that you'd have with me to one of the more challenging. Congratulations on the promotion, girl, I guess." Um, But anyway, I saw her, loved her. I can still almost kind of visualize her. Um, I don't remember. I think I just like talked to her and then I left and I was like, okay, let's do this again. Um, and I ended up in like this sports bar type place. And I was like, it was like full of guides. And I was like, okay. So I'm there and I'm like, okay, like which ones of y'all are my spirit guides? And then some of the hands went up. And I was like, which one of y'all like maybe like which one of y'all is associated with dreams or whatever? Less hands, which one of y'all knows about like the black wolf? And then this one lady, it was a black lady in the dream. Again, she just was. Uh she made a noise or something, and I was like, "Oh, like, do you know?" She's like, "No, but like that sounds kind of scary." And I was like, "Girl," I just like laughed. Like to be fair, in the dreams where it showed up, I wasn't alone, and other people would run like scare her or whatever. But it was anyway. I ended up so it's that part, the part where like I did the lucid dream thing to try to find a guide or someone, some part of my subconscious, if you don't believe in like guides and spirit guides and stuff like that, some part of my subconscious mind, if it's more palatable to you. Um, and somebody raised their hand. It was a guy, less descript guy, I guess. Like the Asian guy, the redheaded spirit guide, and the black lady. He was like, "Ooh." I can almost see picture their faces still. The other guy was just like a dude. Anyway, he was like, and I asked him if he knew, and he said no, but there's I guess I'm just completing the dream at this point. He said no, but there's like a bank, basically. There's a bank where all of your dreams are kept. And he was like, I can take you there. So he took me to the bank and like it was my dream. And I had to prove my identity. I'm like, I mean, I guess like it's a bank, so that makes sense. But I had to prove my identity. And then I asked them what I wanted, and they gave me like a message. And I was like, if you, when I lucid dream, whenever I get to like the good part, it's like, don't wake up, don't wake up, don't wake up. And then I'm so like freaking out about waking up, I start to wake up. Uh, in the beginning, like as soon as I went lucid, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm lucid, but like, don't wake up, don't wake up. It took a while before I could like actually navigate. Um, and it was the thing where when basically when you wake up, but when the bank closes, they had like safety deposit boxes basically. Anything that isn't locked up when you wake up will be like permanently deleted, like forgotten. And so first I'm like reading the message and then I start to wake up and then I'm like trying to get it in the safety deposit box so that it's there. Anyway, the reason why I talked about it mostly was because when I went looking for somebody that can tell me about it. Because it was like a tangent. That was there. Anyway, I said we're gonna look before and after the archetype of not the vessel. Or did I say the vessel? I think I did say the vessel. Was it the vessel? I don't know what other card it would have been. Hold on. I might have to watch this back. I'm gonna watch it back and see what the card was. Uno momento for fiber. It was the vessel. Yeah, like every time I have to read something, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna wake up. And then there was one time though, I think I actually got visited. I don't remember if I got visited by the wolf in that dream or not, but I got a message one day and I put it in my drawer to not forget it. And then I woke up before I read the message. I just like forgot. And then I wake up and I'm like, what did the message say? And I tried to go back and find the message for a little bit, but anyway. Oh, no. Okay. So I am looking before and after the vessel. That was correct. Ooh, the animal. As we're talking about the wolf. And I'm hungry like the wolf. Do-do-do-do-do, I'm on the prowl. I'm not there you. I don't know the rights for that. Universal Music Group or whoever does. Don't come for me. We're gonna start here because four cards just fell out. Interesting. First is Eros, maybe five. Eros number 71, the healer number 25, the creator number 22, and the threshold number 45. Wow. Eros, the healer, the creator, and the threshold. Interesting card. So the healer is obvi giving me energy of that three of swords when it's healed. Yeah, yeah. That now I'm like my brain is like dream, dream, dream. I gotta focus. I feel like sometimes I wish I could just like get on here and be conversational. I feel like early I was better, a lot better. And now I'm like, gotta focus. So the healer is definitely giving me the energy from that three of swords that was like healing. Now Eros is love. Well, agape. Eros has associations with love. Eros is aversion and the other word, like affection. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's broad strokes with both aversion and affection. But that healer, it's like the universe was created out of love. And so the increased capacity that we have for whatever is coming out as Eros allows us to either cross this threshold or like get to the threshold of the creator, like whatever this creative power is. But this is like again like the the type of love that had the power in the hands of the divine to create worlds, universes, life with this healing and whatever else is happening or going on, it puts us at the threshold of that. And then the bottom of the deck is number 61, the mask. Am I gonna keep these out? I guess. Where am I gonna put them? I put them at the four corners because I can do this. And they're a little bit less out of the way. Really? It said I disconnected. Now, when the chat says it disconnect, usually that's the end of the video. Or maybe I just need to pop out the chat so it'll refresh. Now I gotta listen again. Okay, so I am still on. Okay. And I don't even have to pop out the chat. I don't know if YouTube has, in some ways, I don't know if YouTube has improved things on the back end because usually, like if I disconnected midstream, like that was it. Unless I was using like streaming using the broadcast mode. But the chat is flowing again. The video didn't disconnect. Okay. All right. Maybe it's something about because like there's sometimes when the energy is to whatever, the feed just drops. But there's annealing, I guess, that's like reconnecting the live wires and allowing me to actually finish. I just got this. This video is not sponsored. Deja vu. Eve, you were here. I wasn't drinking out of this though, but I decided to give it a try. Ba-ba-ba-ba. No, this. This is the thing. Yeah. But that is Dunkin' iced coffee. Number 6002 today. But in the app it was just 002. My mom was 000. So there was one person in between when she placed her order and I placed mine. Oh, I'm looking before and after. The card at the bottom of the deck is the mask, by the way. But it feels like this mask is like coming out of the darkness. Or is it going into the dark? Or is this creative ability masked? Because the colors are similar ish. I don't know. Ooh, so the bottom three, I usually do the bottom three. I'm kind of like running out of room though. The mask, the mother, and the one. 61, 1, and 30. The mask, the mother, and the one. Under this is the womb. The mask, the mother, the one, the womb. The golden egg, golden children energy. Uh, it was around leap day. The leap day readings, the starborn that wasn't whatever. It feels like the starborn is hatching, and I don't know if it's like when you look at the egg, it's like the egg turns gold, and that's how the wolf knows, or that's why the wolf like shows up in anticipation. It's almost like the cocoons that we saw. Like a cocoon is like a whatever color egg. And it's almost, I would assume there's an assumption that the eggs come out golden. But it's almost like kind of like it's kind of like no one's seen a golden egg. The golden egg is legend that becomes myth. Um, and then eventually at a certain point, people stop believing in it. And there's also this assumption that eggs come out of wherever the eggs come from as already golden. But it feels like this is what appeared to be a regular egg that turns gold. Now, the wolf, I'm assuming, knows the truth of that. But there's also a question of if golden eggs become golden and they're not laid golden, how many eggs have there been that could have become golden that were discarded because whatever. Now, obviously, that brings in an energy of like the past and previous exploits. Again, if we're sitting in this masculine space, maybe it's someone who's like not always done the right thing, but one day they have a change of heart and now they're like a completely different person that is, my fingers are going to start cramping. They're like a completely different person now, like many of the disciples as a metaphor. The egg turns gold. It wasn't laid gold. Maybe some eggs are laid gold. I need like 3.5. 3.5 is perfect. Willy Wonka with the squirrels. Well, I guess it was golden geese in the original. I want a squirrel, Diddy. Feels birthy. Ooh, what's that mean? But yeah, the mother, the one in the womb. I'm not gonna say. And then under the womb is Anima Mundi. Under Anima Mundi is the king. There isn't an emperor in this deck. The Father of Wands was the king that bridged the magician and the hierophant. The King of Wands, in particular, for me, the reason why sometimes like Ouroboros imagery can be someone who has their own ego in check is because the Sovereign of Wands in the Threads of Fate Weaver Tarot. Uh, and you also see that same Ouroboros on the wand in the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, let me try to get through this video. We are looking up. There it is. Oh my gosh, Alethea, number 72. So before is Alethea, and then we have the vessel number 69, and then we have the orphan number 5. After the orphan is the empty room. Before the orphan is the dead end. So yeah, it is. I feel like the dead end and the empty room, low hanging fruit. It feels like it plays on the egg that turns gold, but also I feel like it speaks to what anchors this, which is Eros, the healer, the creator, and the threshold. This empty room is used for creation. So when we're cut off from like whatever separates us from divinity, specifically our internal divinity, the image of the divine that we're created in, the spark of the creator that we all hold within us in our soul. The father of wands, king of wands, is also the sage of souls. It feels like when it's a trickle or when it's not open, it's this empty room. But it's like it's an artistic suite. And so the light that we let in, that's like being funneled in, it's illuminating this room. And now it's like we see all of the creative technology, tools, machinery, pigments, stuff like that. We've gained access to it. Again, as the vessel is being filled. So maybe here, the orphan is on the side of the golden egg. They both came out for the card. And Alethea, which is like absolute truth, capital T truth, is on the side of the wolf that knows, that waits and patiently watches. Now, the dead end is also here. The dead end, again, according to the imagery in the card, it's like that Ten of Wands energy. But now you see like the hand that comes through. When the empty room is dark, the dead end is a dead end. But as the lights come on again, we sort of see it. Also, the king. It's very similar, that hand that comes through. And the light radiating from the king. Now, this is the same hand that comes out of the sand in the desert, and that's what the Queen of Swords recognized when I did the lunar eclipse reading. That's how the Queen of Swords knew when the hand rose out of the sand, and now we're seeing the hand in the dead end in the king in the room that's no longer empty. It's also a fully matured hand because in the orphan, that's the hand of a child. And so it's not the child's hand that it's like it's not the child's hand that is being looked for because when we're born, it's like all children are born above the sand. And then as we live life, we get buried under it with the desert. Now, not only does the hand like sort of pop up, it also has to grab the brush and start creating. And I'm thinking about like the masculine energy that's been present, the Son of Swords, the Son of Wands. There's also like with the lunar eclipse, the Son of Swords is like a sayer or a thinker that came out before the lunar eclipse. After eclipse is the Son of Wands, which is the doer. Oh, look, it's already there. The hand pokes through, not only pokes through, but grabs the brush and then starts creating with this radiant light of the sun. And feels like there's a little bit of a difference between this solar eclipse Mother of Swords creation and the lunar eclipse Mother of Cups creation. Because with this magician, the sun is like behind the magician. But with the Son of Wands, it's like at the height of that wand. I don't know, it just feels like it's different. Which I guess in and of itself is interesting because one would assume that the magician is further along than the Son of Wands and would therefore have access to creative techniques or abilities that the Sun wouldn't have access to. But here it's almost reading like the Sun is actually further along than the magician, further along. But that brings to mind Pages 2.0. And that maybe it was like 2021, early 2021, where the Page 2.0 was really starting to come out. It's like we get so used to things and the systems that we become familiar with that we reach that king or queen status. And we can kind of sort of get comfortable or complacent there. But if the industry, the medium, information, or the way things are used changes significantly enough, if the king or queen doesn't want to get like left behind in the times, they have to relearn. They become a page again, but they're not a page with no experience. They're not a page with no knowledge or wisdom. They're the page 2.0 from their basis, from the mastery that they achieved or attained under certain conditions. When the conditions change, they like further that, like continued education, basically. And that's what the Son of Wands, especially compared to that magician, comes into. What was that? Something just dropped. It wasn't an earring. I'm like, I don't know if something was stuck to the bottle. I'll find it later. Um, and again, there's something about it now that gets a lot closer to. Oh, it was this card. The threshold just fell onto the floor. That's what it was. I accidentally knocked it off. I'm actually going to leave the threshold on the floor because symbolically that is us. That's the creative threshold being crossed. Before that, Three of Swords, Temperance, Eight of Swords, Death, Two of Wands sort of energy. You could say before this uh ecliptic axis, before this time, uh there was again like the Ten of Wands, that dead end, depending on how transparent or opaque it was, that affected how much light could pass through it, which affected how much of the empty room was illuminated, which affected how much access we had to whatever's within this creative suite. This page 2.0 energy, it's like the threshold has been broken. The Son of Wands is working more closely to that divine energy. And that's why like the threshold is on the floor now, like gone beyond that threshold. It's also why um whatever else I was gonna say. Yeah, it feels like that's also why the page is further along. If you look at what is created, the magician, and it's not a competition, it's a metaphor for a journey or process. Again, it sort of plays into the king slash queen versus the page 2.0. Um, this is the night. Also, I keep saying page. These are nights. We were in the energy of the page 2.0 a long time ago. This is like the night 2.0 now, to become the king slash queen 2.0, to become the emperor, because it was the emperor butterfly, which is the divine. Oh, I watched the tarot ship. He went live with S.J. Anderson question mark earlier. They were talking about the rising sign, and in the slide deck, S.J. Anderson put the rising sign is like where the heaven and the earth meets, where the ecliptic crosses the horizon. So it's like divinity incarnated. And like when he put that on there, I read it. I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Like that's cute. Um, and then there's a whole nother tangent. Synchronicities be synchronicitying in ways that I'm just like, I'm just like, wait. Woo! Oh, it was on the edge of the table. It was part of the boundary. The boundary has broken. Again, the threshold to that creative suite is less existent. I'll say that. Also, we're coming up on the month of October where, the veil ends, All Saints Day, All Hallows Eve. Replay 5 is like perfect. Okay, sorry. I don't know. It's fine. Back to this. Also, we go from three snakes to here it is. The first snake we saw was the Father of Wands that sat in between the Magician and the Hierophant when I was shuffling the deck at the cut. The second snake we saw is this Son of Wands. You see three snakes in the healer. The third snake is the snake in this orphan card. There's the third snake that makes an appearance today. Uh, yeah. All right. So the dead end, the empty room. Already talked about it. Alethea is true. Also, in this Alethea, there's a balancing of light and dark, just like the moon and the hyena. The gold we've seen at on the king, this purple teardrop shaped whatever. It feels like this, excuse me, precipitates between the panther and oh, it's not here anymore. I guess I shuffled the deck. Here's the gold that was on the king. It feels like this purple gem precipitates between the tiger and the panther. It was the tiger, the nightingale, and the panther. The nightingale is the one that's like, so they're like both there. Good night, Eve. Thanks for popping by. It was nice seeing you. Have a good day tomorrow. Have a good week. Have a good rest of your year. I'm sure you'll hear. Well, it's not like I'm not going to see you. Cool. I think the circumstances for what turns an egg to a golden egg are going to be different for different people, obviously. And again, there's something more. I could see the Son of Swords and the Magician being representative of what we think of the seven hermetic principles, laws of attraction, manifestation, and things like that. Because it's very cerebral, it's very programmed, it's very thought based. The universe is mental right there. It's very swords based. But on the other side of this, it's just the sun and this wand that channels is the conduit of whatever that solar energy is. Again, Son of Swords was more thinking and saying. The Son of Wands is more doing. There's something as this solar eclipse rolls around where it becomes more about doing. And it feels like with more access to the creative suite because of whatever is happening, the way that we like manifest or the way that we observe the dynamic between the spiritual and the physical and interact in that play changes. Um, and so it may be different. Again, it reminds me of the dream I had. I feel like I've talked about it recently, where there were like ambassadors from Earth, our Earth, and there were ambassadors from this other place. So in the other place, there was like magic. And then the people from Earth were like, oh, we know about magic, like manifestation, like vibrations, frequencies. The universe is mental. Uh, the all is the mind, and hermetic principles. And they were like, no, like there's like real magic here. And again, it was like an access. It was the amount of access that we had to the creative energy within us. Where we are now or where we have been is going to be much different. But again, it's because of this healing, and it feels like it's because of the character of the South in general, right? It's like if we had access to miracle levels of whatever more consistently, like what would we have done with it? What would the state of the world be now if without access to that, like war and uh targeted intended famine and intentional limitation of access to like food, potable water, healthcare, and stuff. Like if the world is what it is without access to all that, imagine how much worse it could be. But when something is healed, it's almost true like hurt people hurt people. When something is healed, as the vessel is being full, there aren't these like traumas and wounds and other things that would have us seek to utilize whatever w- to utilize our resources both physically, spiritually, energetically, vibrationally, tangible, intangible. Like we wouldn't do those things. There wouldn't be a need to. I didn't feel a specific alchemy as a clarifier. I almost don't want to pull one because again, it feels like it would be different for different people. But I guess I'm gonna do it anyway. We're gonna see what comes out. And like the Mother of Swords resting on this sword is almost a forget what you know type of energy. Or it's more like don't think something, do something, right? Which just be an adjustment. Take it as it resonates if it resonates, and if it don't resonate, don't take it. All right, let's get this final card. I haven't read anything out of the book, but I am gonna read Alethea. This is the wrong book. The alchemy only goes up to like it doesn't even hit 70. It does. It goes to 71. I'm looking for 78. I'm like, wait, wrong book. Who almost put oh my gosh. Almost pushed this whole deck on the floor. Could you imagine? All right, 72, Alethea. No, 72 is agape. Alethea is 77. This is number 77. I guess I didn't see the V, which is interesting. I didn't see the V. I thought it was 72 because the V5 is the orphan. And again, it's like it's coming out of this orphaned energy into truth. Um, I've been, my mom brought it up recently um, about how sometimes we as people need to know the source of some things. So if there is like an anger issue or a trauma or a way of being, sometimes it's helpful to us in our healing process if we know where the root of it is or where it comes from, right? Like, you feel particularly angry, and it's like inherited, just like angry people. Not people who are necessarily always angry, but people who are quick to anger and who take it to extremes. And because of that, but sometimes when we know, it's helpful. Because I'm of the camp, I'm like, well, does it matter if you get it from your parents? Does it matter? Like, does the source matter if it's something that's within you that you want to change? Like, can't you address it? Can't you heal it without knowing the source? And it was a whole thing with my mom, and then she was like, even it was a thing. Because you said, like, even some people who are adopted, if they grow up in like loving homes, there's still a desire to know, for some people at least, who their biological parents are, to know where they come from. And this truth of the wolf, it's like that's the truth of our spiritual parents and where we come from. I just saw somebody post on social media the other day about, like, someone's like, I realize my mom isn't my, like, mother. She's just like the physical person that I came into this world through. Meaning, like, my mother isn't the mother of my soul. Um, Again, everything is just gonna sort of, it's always and that's like this truth, unorphaned truth. The golden egg, number 77. And we've seen Anima Mundi 78. We've seen so many of these. The only ones we have that haven't come out today. Well, I guess we've seen Eros, we've seen Eros, Anima Mundi, and Alethea. I saw Gnosis. Gnosis is like not too far from whatever was on the other side. Yeah, there it is. The empty room, the siren, and Gnosis. And under Gnosis is the flame, which you could say is the illumination of that empty room again. Alethea, number 77. Our soul recognizes the truth. When someone speaks it, a cool wave of relief washes over the room, and all the facts and figures in the world fall by the wayside. Such is the power of Aletheia. It has an undeniable resonance that goes beyond the rational. We can also recognize Aletheia by its contagiousness. When we hear someone speak the truth, we see the truth within ourselves and are more likely to tell our own story. The Aletheia card requires us to step toward an act of truth. This might look like a conversation, a gesture, a poetic act, or a ritual that honors the unveiling of what's been concealed. Reclaiming your own truth is a way to reclaim your vital energy, health, and sense of belonging in the world. Truth has its own wings, set it free. It feels like that uh, truth can manifest as many things. It feels like truth and the creator are connected. The connection between the creator and truth is that the creator speaks truth. So if something isn't, it becomes so when the creator speaks it because the creator said it as an extension of truth. And in the Bible, what do you say? I am the way, the truth, and the light. Somebody said that in the Bible. The way, the truth, the light. It's like the way anatomically. The way is like the lungs, the vocal cords, the whole speaking system. The truth is what is spoken. The light is what comes into being. And when it's said all the facts and figures fall by the wayside, again, it feels like that's this mental, studied way of creation between the Son of Swords and the Magician. Interesting. All right, now alchemy. I want a clean flip or a clean fall, and please don't fall on the floor. Ooh, almost like dropped several cards. Oh, that's a clean flip. It looks like Luna. It is. No, it's silver. I was gonna say it looks like Luna or silver. Because I saw the moon, I thought it was, oh my gosh, it's 25. 25 is the healer. Bottom of the deck is Neptune, number 9. Oh, look. This one's more like purple than blue, but we see that same teardrop shape, which is interesting because the gold is also there. Both the gold and that teardrop shape are in Neptune. Neptune has come out recently with smoke. And there was something about the smoke on Neptune that isn't fog. Anyway, number 25. It's not a snake, but it's almost coiled around like both the orphan and the healer. Maybe it's not a snake because it's like we already got the three snakes from the healer. The orphan, the son of wands, the father of wands. And it's interesting because the cards almost came out in reverse order, or the revealed themselves in reverse order. Because we saw the son and then the father and then the orphan. I mean, there is a way to read it in that order, but it feels like through life, the orphan comes into knowing the truth of who they are and eventually become that father, the sovereign, rather than the scholar. No, what is it? The scholar, the something, the teacher, and the song, the sage. I can't even remember. The scholar, the blank, the teacher, the sage. Or is it the initiate, the scholar? Anyway, from that knight energy to the king energy. Again, in the vessel, I don't think I showed the vessel. As the vessel is filling, it's because of the presence of this light. And if the Three of Swords is unhealed, or if that threshold is still in place, or if light doesn't have the ability to penetrate through the darkness, it becomes very difficult to fill the vessel. But this is a vessel that is more and more and more full. Oh, that's how you create the golden egg. LOL. When the vessel is completely full of this golden energy, it's the golden egg. And that's what the wolf sees or recognizes. Cool. Uh, and again, like between the orphan and silver, there's a lot of consistency, a lot of similarities in the imagery. But I will read silver. Silver shines eternally in second place. I keep passing it. I go from one way to the other, to one to the other, and then eventually I settle on silver. Silver is lunar, reflective, and chrome. Amidst its upper echelon status, silver shines eternally in second place, second position. It is the lesser sibling, the one that's not quite there yet. A true alchemist does not resist this truth, but rather studies its subtle implications and its wisdom. Silver requires polishing, or the surface tarnishes over time. Mirrors require cleaning, or the image clouds and distorts. Whereas gold sustains its own malleable radiance, silver asks for our participation. We must work at it. Don't give up now. Silver wants to build relationships. Like the moon, a mirror or a poem, a poetic act was Alethea. And also it did say something about not resisting this truth, Alethea's truth. This is the poem. That was the poetic, which is like a poem in motion, the action. Again, that masculine. Like the moon, a mirror or a poem, let it reflect an image back with an open heart and one more moment of willingness. The seemingly cold, stark surface of silver opens into the imaginal realm. What is there? Your own vastness? The mysteries that beckon you on moonlit nights? Through our daily devotion to silver, we find the truest gold. Honestly, there's a little bit of an ego trappy energy here, um, which is almost inherent. The second place that we shine in with the silver, in context to this reading in particular, we in our function as a creator come second to the creator, like the divine, like God. You know what I mean? Like that will always be above us. And I think sometimes there are many ways, many examples of like someone trying to assume a mantle, someone trying to gather more and more and more power or more and more resources to reach a certain level. And it feels like it's a lot of those things that keeps the threshold in place. And then I already mentioned about the ties to Alethea and the truth. I was going to do it after I finished reading it, but it difference. Yeah, bottom of the deck is Neptune, Neptunus. Maybe there's an element of there's something. There is some element of something that changes a lie to truth. It changes fantasy to reality. Because again, it's like the divine or this creative aspect of the divine can't lie. It is an extension of truth that allows it to create, that allows it to bring into existence what is not there. We can say what we want all day long, but again, without something, it remains fantasy, it remains a lie. It will not be made fully true. And I don't know if it's a warning of Neptune or if it's just a statement of what it is. Again, because we are second to the divine with this silver energy. Oh, wrong card. With this silver energy, we are second to the divine. And now with this truth, with this aletheia, it allows for us to be second with the purple sort of thing that was. Oh, I switched these on accident. I put Neptune on the table and put the moon back. Neptune and the moon actually thematically, it's like it's why the moon is associated with Pisces in tarot. It's all those aspects of like under the moonlight, sometimes we don't fully see things. It can be illusions, it could be all kinds of stuff. Like those more illusory aspects of the moon that tended towards Pisces and this Neptune being here. But Pisces is also again like on that threshold. Uh, it knows it's in second place with this. It knows that its access to truth isn't the same as the divine creator's access, but it's like it doesn't use that fact to remove itself from power or to disempower itself, right? It's just like it's a fact. It's not necessarily meant to be something to like humble. It's not meant to be, yeah, I guess it's not meant to be something to intentionally humble someone. It's just reality, right? And we don't have to feel a certain type of way about the truth. The truth is what the truth is, regardless of our feelings and emotions, and perceptions, and all kinds of things. Uh, Here are the cards. There it is. The threshold. Oh, my Lord. Also, we see a lot of hands, and then the threshold, we see feet. Oh, here's the body. More and more and more of the body we see in the vessel. I was like, we don't see a body. We don't see a head. That's the thing that we don't see. We see the legs and the feet as this golden light is rising. We've seen plenty of hands. There's the orphan's hand, the king's hand is here somewhere. We don't see a head, but we do see an eye question mark. No, that's a diamond in the mouth. Never mind. Well, there was the eye of the animal. Uh, I don't know if that maybe that's like a north nodal energy. I'm not sure. It just caught my attention. Cool. All right, let's get final cards. Put all these back. And again, like the silver of second place, that also plays into like we all have a role to play, right? Like there are some things that are within our power to change. There are some things that are not within our power to change. And even as we grow closer and closer to the divine in spirit, even to the point of being vessels or vehicles through which miracles can occur and happen, or having access to that. Um, like again, there are things that will always be outside of our control. And again, we don't have to disempower ourselves with that information or with that truth. And we don't have to Jupiter at the cut. It's like, and that truth also doesn't have to, at the end of the day, we're going to do what we're going to do. People are going to be people, but it doesn't have to be the impetus or the motivation for us to seek more and more and more and more and more like spiritual power or whatever. That's the thing about the truth. It is what it is, no more and no less. Uh, you know? And so, yeah, I'll just leave it there. Oh, well, I picked up an archetype from the floor. Neptune is at the bottom of the deck again. I picked an archetype up, and then The alchemy just cartwheels onto the. Oh, snap. Guess what card it is? It's two cards. Guess what the first card is? Neptune is at the bottom of the deck. Guess what the card that fell out is? The first card. Fumus. Smoke. You see, the heart of the smoke is that gold. And that gold is associated with the sun, is associated with truth. The other card behind it is Aries. It's Mars. It's number 5, which is the orphan. Interesting. This also, like, maybe this speaks to why this is coming out under masculine energy. Like, this isn't this act of creation, because it came out as the creator, it came out as a poem, it came out as art and artistry, which is easy with a certain perspective background to consider feminine, like feminine action. But it's not receptive. It's not just sitting around waiting. And it feels like whatever this smoke is, this is the thing. This is the thing that's missing. This isn't the fog of Neptune, it's smoke. Again, there's a warmth to smoke that doesn't exist in fog. It's not necessarily present in fog. Because it was that whole like, well, what's the thing that takes fantasy to reality? Lie to truth. It's hidden by this smoke and put into action with Mars. And that's what makes Neptune like a reality shifter, a planet of like miracles and dreams coming true, not just, a lie, not just illusion. It's more than that. Oh, there's the panther. The hawk, the panther, the lamb, and the lamb. The hawk, the panther, and the lamb. Oh, panther at the cut with the bear. Again, something that's almost been like hiding in darkness, that when it comes out of hibernation, it awakens in the sunlight. It is a mystery. The smoke of Neptune. And I am perfectly content to allow it to remain so. At least today, for the foreseeable future, I will not be doing any readings or pulling any cards to try to get to the root of what is the smoke of Neptune and how do we differentiate it from the fog of Neptune? What is that thing that is so apparently missing or so apparently key that, again, causes fantasy to go to reality, that causes a lie to be made true? There's this cerebral, the universe is mine, son of swords, magician approach, but there is a son of wands. And again, we saw the emperor butterfly that came out of that cocoon instead of the monarch. Feels like that was important. Judgment and the Nine of Swords. Judgment and the Nine of Swords was interesting because we have these birds flying up. It almost feels like, because there were the two eyeballs on the Nine of Swords, it feels like someone's, the eyes get plucked. And then when the eyes get plucked, then we see everything type. The Fool and the Judgment card. Interesting. The Father of Swords and Ooh, the Chariot and the Two of Cups. It wasn't a clean flip, but they made some noise. All right, final card from Wallanoan Tarot. Oh, wow. Goodness. Why did it have to go flying? The Father of Pentacles is here. The Mother of Cups is at the bottom of the deck. Behind the Mother of Cups, and I feel like they came out symbolically before. Yeah, it was the Seven of Wands and the Eight of Wands. This was for Taurus. I don't think the Mother of Cups is there, but it also could have been the lunar eclipse reading. It's that light in the dark, that illumination. The Father of Pentacles, I believe it was after the card after or at the bottom of the deck somewhere. I remember seeing it. The Ace of Wands has flown. I don't know if this is the only card. It felt like several cards. Like the Father of Pentacles came out, and then the card just flew out of my hand on the floor. Hopefully, this is it. The Ace of Wands. Maybe it's like this one. But this came out. Is this the thing that shapes reality in our world? I don't know. Take it as it resonates. These two are at the bottom of the deck. The Mother of Cups and the Seven of Wands. The Father of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands came in. Under this is the Six of Swords. Under the Six of Swords is the Sun. Under the Sun is the Ace of Swords and the Nine of Swords. Three of Swords, Temperance, Nine of Swords, Ace of Swords. The Sun, Six of Swords, Seven of Wands, and the Mother of Cups. No, it's like this way. It's these and then these. I think this is. If there's another card, maybe I'll make a community post about it. Maybe I won't. Patrick, close down. What did you just do that for? Synchronicity. Oh. So y'all know how in Libra season, I think I talked about both of them in the same video, but maybe not. There was a thing when I read Libra season. It was in maybe the Defector and whatever. There was the Page of Cups, King of Cups, the Herald of the Grail, and the Archangel of Healing. Anyway, there was the energy of like something was being removed. I can't remember if it was for the collective in the powers of two and three, or if it was Libra season. But there was a thing that was being removed that because it was the bread of life, it was Libra season. Bread of life and the Archangel of Mysteries. She like gave it to basically whatever that thing is that blocks the moon internally that's being removed. And it was that energy of like, at least within this next few months, because it was tied to that new mini moon that we have, some kind of access would be like granted. The moving of that thing that blocks the moon is related to, at the very least, the healing of that Three of Swords that opens up a floodgate where there used to be a trickle that illuminates the empty room that houses the creative suite. And for some reason, as I picked up this deck to shuffle it, it was like this new mini moon that's orbiting around the Earth for a little bit is that thing that's been removed, which ties into having access to this. And then the whale is at the bottom of the deck again. The whale, Whale, but it could also be the whale in the phoenix. Let's go. It could also be a Well well, that while that blockage is removed, there's waters that can flow. So it's a well that may have been dry, that is not anymore, or at least temporarily. If it resonates, take it. If it don't. The swan and the gazelle, love these energies. And then the hyena and the gazelle. All right, final card. Please don't fall forward. I want a clean flip or a clean fall, and you don't have to fall to the floor to get attention. Thank you. The camel is the card that came out. The golden egg is at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. There's something about the perseverance of the camel, something about the internal resourcefulness of the camel that feels like it speaks to this golden egg. Almost like in this time, there is something that is going to like bubble to the surface. Like whatever turns the egg gold has been within us this whole time, or whoever it's for. It's been within them this whole time. But it required a certain set of circumstances. You see the moon up there? It required a certain set of circumstances for it to like activate. Almost like the egg was a seed, and we saw the seed at the cut with another archetype. Was it the vessel on the seed? It wasn't the vessel on the seed. It was an archetype at the seed. Anyway, the egg is like a seed. And that with whatever that change is, it doesn't happen until the conditions are right. Like how a seed can survive for a hot minute, um, before it like germinates and sprouts and grows. How it can lay dormant until the environment is right or until the conditions are right. Also, there was the petrichor recently of plants that whenever it gets too dry or whatever, the plants start to secrete oils, that let the seeds know it's a little rough out here. Stay in the shell while you can. But when it begins to rain again, it washes those oils out of the soil. And the absence of that is how the seeds know, okay, it's time to go. All right. All right. All right. Final card from the wild unknown archetypes. Again, I want a clean flip or a clean fall. Please do not go on the floor. Not going on the floor at this point is personal preference. All right. I was gonna reshuffle the alchemy, but I think I will keep it. Oh, who was that? The Bardo made some noise, but it wasn't a clean flip. It wasn't a clean flip. The Bardo was interesting because of the threshold. Bottom of the deck, 21, the Mystic. 21 is the mirror of the 12, which is the Hangman. For a fun fact, I say, please don't go on the flow. And they say, do we got to listen to Patrick? No. I'm glad I'm wearing these. The Nine of Cups was on the floor. I picked it up in reverse. So the Nine of Cups and the Seven of Cups I've been seeing in the tarot deck. The Seven of Cups is actually pretty close to the bottom of the deck. I don't remember if I mentioned it earlier. I might have. But the reason why I bring it up now is picking up this Nine of Cups in reverse feels like these are nine cups that all face the sun. Because in the Seven of Cups, there are six cups that face the moon and one cup that faces the sun. We will reveal it from the bottom of the deck. So you can see Ace of Swords, Seven of Cups. Now, Nine of Wands, Seven of Cups. Temperance, Seven of Cups. Three of Swords. After that is the Seven of Cups. There it is. Because I looked at all these. There are six cups that face the moon when it's upright, one cup that faces the sun when it's in reverse. With this card upright, nine cups face the moon. I picked it up in reverse. It feels like not only do these six cups turn to face the sun, which is that truth, but two more cups come in. I saw the Two of Cups when I was going through it next to a major arcana card. I want to say it was the Emperor. I don't think it was the Emperor, actually. I don't remember what the card was. Yeah, I'm looking for this, what, archetype. And then I discover, like, oh, there's another tarot card face down on the floor. So it joins the ranks of the Ace of Wands and the Father of Pentacles. Maybe that's why these cups face like the light now, because of the brilliance of the Ace of Wands. And again, there was that Seven of Wands under the Mother of Cups. It feels like it could be again the egg that turns golden. At first, there were more cups that faced the moon, but because of whatever this illumination is, more and more and more and more cups turn to face the sun. And maybe that plays into the transition. Because again, one of the things that separates, or one of the pillars that the threshold is built upon, one of the things that can keep us from whatever that divine creation aspect is, was like ego. But specifically, it was related to the Three of Swords. But again, like once that's healed internally, more and more and more of the cups turn to face the sun. Because at that point, associated with silver, it's okay shining in second place. You know, it can accept the fact that even though we are creators made in the image of the creator, even though we have a spark, a piece, a part of the divine within us, we are not the divine. We are not the creator. We still fall within what the, what the creator has created or what the creator intends. And that's just something we got to accept. But, don't stop people from quote unquote playing God or trying to play God. I knew it felt like more than one card. I think that was it. Now I don't have to make a community post. It was the Destroyer. Funny. The Destroyer is the card that fell out that helped me find that Nine of Cups in reverse. But we see the eyes of the wolf here in the Destroyer. It feels like the wolf observes this. Yeah, the wolf observes destruction. And that could be two different wolves. There are two wolves inside of you. The wolf that wins is the wolf that you feed. But as long as we tend to destruction, the empty room will remain dark. As long as we tend towards destruction, we will only experience a peace. There is no full illumination in this star. This star is not the sun. And again, it was that, like, think of all that we already do. The mystic. So this is 23, by the way. The mystic number 21 is there. What is the 22 between the mystic and the destroyer? Is it the creator? Is it a card that we've already seen? Question mark. I got the book here. I can find out. Are we gonna look before and after or no? It's fine. We'll leave it as a mystery. It might have been that creator. Could have been a card that we already saw. And I'm gonna keep the final card of uh smoke that fell out. It was Aries and then Neptune. I'm just putting them back in the right order. Under Aries, if you're curious, is the Ouroboros. Again, the Ouroboros biting its own tail is the king of the sovereign of fire, sovereign of wands, who has their own ego in check. The one who is perfectly fine with shining eternally in second place, who doesn't fight or resist that truth, who doesn't create a circumstance or who doesn't intend to create a circumstance that would belie that truth by making him or her or them appear to be more powerful than they are. There's no need to be whatever. Almost a bro catch 22. All right. That was this. Thanks, Eve, for stopping by. I hope you all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path journey and what you find. And I hope you a okayness question mark with your role, whatever that role may be. And whatever your journey to discover it and be comfortable with it. If you have to do more, if you have to take a step back and do less, if you do differently, right? Maybe you work on a side project until things pick up to the point where you need it over here. Whatever. I wish you the best of it. And I will catch you next time I catch you. Bye.